Hey everybody, welcome to Homework Help for Unit 8B. Let's take a look. I'm just going to do one of each kind. So let's jump into the practice homework, 8B-A. Take a look at question 1. Back to the restaurant owner with his steaks. And you notice we just built this proportion spreadsheet. But you're going to notice this isn't proportion because you're going to read it and it has a standard deviation, which we wouldn't have if it was a proportion question. Notice there's no place for a standard deviation. Then you can remember that last week I told you that we were going to do the inverse or the backwards problems next week, which is now this week. So I got to go back to my other spreadsheet, 8A. But because I made this all in one spreadsheet and named these tabs on the bottom, this is so easy. And guess what? The 6 ounces and 0.4 ounces for the mean and the standard deviation are still in my spreadsheet from last week. The only difference is my last problem I did had a sample size of 35. This problem says there's a sample size of 50, so I'm going to change that. Okay, and the question they have is 95% of the sample means will be below what weight? Now I need my percent backwards. Okay, I'm going to put it in as a decimal, 0.95. There it is. Now I don't need the x looking for. I don't need the other x between because I'm not doing that. I'm doing a backwards problem. So I want to know 95% of the sample means are going to be below what value. Here I am, backwards x less 6.09. Yeah, it says 2 decimal places for the answer, so I'm going to shrink this down. Boom, boom. And you know what? This one too, because I'm going to need that eventually. That's probably the next problem I'm doing. So I'm going to shrink that one too. 2 decimal places. So 6.09 is my answer. So to answer that, given all this information, okay, if he takes a sample of 50 steaks, 95% of the sample means will be below 6.09 ounces based on this data. Let's do the next one. We're going to jump ahead to number 4, and that's an above. It's a greater than. So backwards greater than. Same information, by the way. Mean, 6 ounces. Standard deviation, 0.4. Percentage that we're asking about, 0.95. Sample size, 50. What's the difference? Now we want to know greater than. 5.91. It's right there. I don't even have to do anything. It's already done. 5.91. What does that mean? That means 95% of the sample means will be above 5.91 ounces. That's what it means. It's really that simple. I love these spreadsheets. They're great. We're going to move on now to number 7. The politician who's running for election. Last time he won 60% of the vote. It's been 3 years since then. He wants to see if his numbers have changed. He surveys 500 registered voters and asks if they vote for him if there's an election next week. If his popularity has not changed, what's the probability that less than 59% say they'll vote for him? Enter your answer. The decimal. Okay. Well, this is a proportion, so I got to switch over to my proportion spreadsheet. I'm going to go over here. What is my proportion in question? Well, that's always the one with the question mark at the end. What's the probability? 59%, so 0.59. What was the known proportion? Was 60%, 0.60. What's the sample size? 500. There we go. Z value is 0.4564. Less than, is it less than, right? Yes, it is. Less than, the probability that less than 59% of the voters say they'll vote for him is 0.32. 0.32. Okay. That's all I have to do. I'm going to jump to number 10. And same situation, same politician. 60% is your known variable. Okay, 500 people. This time, what's the probability that more than 58? So now the probability in question is 58%. What's the probability that more than 58% they'll vote for him? Well, that probability is 0.82. Okay, 0.82. And so the way we'd interpret this is, given that we know his popularity was 60%, if that hasn't changed and he samples 500 people, there's a probability, there's 82% probability that more than 58% of those people surveyed said they'd vote for him. It's not going to be exactly 60 even if it hasn't changed because we're taking a sample. We're not asking all the voters. So what we're saying here is this just sampling error or something else going on here? And it's highly likely, 82% probability. There it is. That's all you have to do to answer these questions. It's really, really simple. If you have any questions, let me know.